straight. While there is much to celebrate about how far we have come, my purpose in visiting here is to look for ways to enhance the relationship even further. We very much appreciate AmCham's leadership and work in identifying steps to increase two-way trade and investment. For us in the U.S. government, this sort of private sector input and valuable advice is incredibly helpful in charting a roadmap for our negotiators. In this context, my USTR colleagues, together with many other U.S. government agencies, are working with their Taiwan counterparts to explore next steps in our bilateral trade dialogue, including with regard to our trade and investment framework agreement talks. In fact, I'm pleased to tell you that an interagency team will be visiting Taiwan next month to conduct expert-level talks on a wide range of trade issues of interest to both sides. We still have a lot of work ahead of us as we both operate within the parameters of two very strong and robust democracies that have many interested stakeholders and many vigorously expressed views on economic and trade policy. But I am confident that we can work together and work through those complicated and technical issues in a way that makes sense for both sides, drawing on a spirit of cooperation well rooted in our many decades of friendship and shared prosperity. Ultimately, progress in our trade and investment agenda will not only improve market access for U.S. and Taiwan companies, but as AmCham's 2012 report was so aptly titled, they will reinforce Taiwan's economic competitiveness in the longer term. The expansion of global supply chains coupled with Taiwan's success in fostering cross-strait trade through the Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement has made Taiwan an especially attractive target for foreign investment. U.S. high-tech firms that invest large sums in research and development seek to partner with economies that have a high-trust ecosystem for protecting the intellectual property invested in products and service innovations. Taiwan can be an even more effective springboard for U.S. companies that wish to expand in the region as it makes further progress in enhancing its protection of intellectual property. Enhancing IPR enforcement, in particular, is something that is clearly in Taiwan's interest as well. Since 1999, Taiwan has consistently ranked fourth in the world in the number of patents registered with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and second after the United States on a per capita basis. Taiwan has done much to improve its IPR enforcement with significant help from the U.S. private sector and has benefited as a result from increased investment. This sort of capacity building support is not only limited to IPR. Through the American Institute in Taiwan and the Taipei Economic and Cultural Representative Office, the U.S. continues to support Taiwan counterparts in areas from law enforcement to public health to environmental protection. Looking to the future, we can and should plan to work together as partners with Taiwan to support capacity building in the developing world. During the Pacific Islands Forum, attended by Secretary Clinton a few weeks ago, Taiwan and the United States, working with the East-West Center in Honolulu, announced the Pacific Islands Leadership Partnership to train young leaders from the region here and in the United States. This initiative was an outgrowth of a visit by USAID Administrator Rajiv Shah to Taipei back in December. USAID is also participating in this week's conference on international development cooperation and the Taiwan Experience, which will feature a keynote address from former Deputy Secretary of State Bob Zoellick. Taiwan has much to teach the developing world, not only about effective governance, but also the very important rewards of democratization. We also look forward to working with Taiwan in multilateral forums such as APEC. Taipei has been an active and effective member of APEC since it joined in 1991. We welcome Taipei's support for the landmark agreement by APEC leaders earlier this month in Vladivostok on an APEC list of environmental goods on which, according to our 2011 pledge, we will reduce tariffs to 5% by 2015. This agreement will benefit both the U.S. and Taiwan's green growth and trade liberalization goals. As U.S. Deputy Secretary of Energy Dan Poneman mentioned during his visit to Taiwan last December, by taking steps in promoting a clean energy economy, the U.S. and Taiwan will benefit both the health and the wealth of our peoples. We also appreciate Taiwan's support for other key objectives in Vladivostok, including combating wildlife trafficking, cracking down on counterfeit pharmaceuticals, and launching work to begin addressing local content requirements, which we believe distort trade and investment. For our part, we support Taiwan's leadership on a range of areas in the APEC arena. Taiwan has been especially effective at sharing its policy successes in fostering small and medium-sized enterprises. Taiwan has been similarly effective and instrumental in advancing APEC's ambitious structural reform agenda. Next year, it will lead an important initiative to help economies increase fiscal transparency and governmental accountability. Taiwan's progress on budget transparency, regulatory convergence, and promoting the ease of doing business not only supports APEC's multilateral objectives, but it also fosters an attractive business environment for companies big and small here in Taiwan. We were also pleased to see the enthusiastic participation from Taiwan in the Women in the Economy Forum in July in St. Petersburg, and 1 year earlier at the Women in the Economy Summit in San Francisco. In Vladivostok earlier this month, Secretary Clinton publicly praised Cher Wang, the chairwoman of HTC, for her leadership within APEC on women's economic empowerment. Taiwan has continued to show leadership in advancing women's economic inclusion through participation in the upcoming APEC workshop to enable government procurement from women entrepreneurs, and by taking the lead on integrating women's issues into the full spectrum of APEC activities, including disaster resilience and weather risk prevention. Taiwan's efforts within APEC have advanced the longer-term cause of trade liberalization in the Asia-Pacific region, moving this region closer to the goals of a free trade area of the Asia-Pacific. It has also helped prepare Taiwan for possible future entry into next-generation trade agreements that will set the standard in coming years. For the United States, our current focus is on completing the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations. The TPP agreement will not only address core issues traditionally included in trade agreements, but also seeks to address cross-cutting issues not previously seen in trade agreements, such as making the regulatory systems of TPP countries more compatible so companies can operate more seamlessly across TPP markets, addressing trade and investment in innovative products and services, including digital technologies, and helping innovative, job-creating small and medium-sized enterprises participate more actively in international trade. The United States and its TPP partners are committed to negotiating a high-standard 21st century agreement and to expanding it out to include countries across the Asia-Pacific region. This ambitious initiative offers significant benefits to the dynamic economies of the Asia-Pacific region that are prepared to sign on to high standards of liberalization. However, trade liberalization is not a painless process, which is why visionary and sustained leadership will be crucial for any country seeking to participate in the TPP in the future. As I said at the outset, closer economic engagement cannot simply be done by governments alone. Individual firms, local government, and business coalitions like AmCham need to be part of the conversation. The key takeaway from my visit this week is the importance of expanding the U.S.-Taiwan economic relationship to involve all of these players and to cover the full scope of our broad and dynamic relationship. This is my first visit to Taiwan, but I can almost assure you it will not be my last. I look forward to continuing the dialogue with all of you and with our Taiwan friends and counterparts as we chart a future that can increase the prosperity and well-being of both of our peoples. So Bill, thank you. Bill, thank you. AmCham, thank you very much. Really appreciate your attention, and I'll look forward to your questions after the media departs. Thank you.